And I hope it gets better than this.
Good stuff, man. Is that one new?
Yeah, it's brand new. It's about a month old, maybe a few weeks.
You forget what you forgot.
Sometimes I forget what I forgot.
I was just saying to my wife recently, I got the same problem where I'll fix something and forget that I fixed it.
That's awesome.
Very cool, man. How many songs would you say are new this year?
Oh, this year, where are we? Probably written about maybe 15 songs or so, mostly with Joe Matera, my co-writer. That one I wrote by myself, but
And Joe wrote about 150.
yeah,
Today.
yeah. Joe's prolific with his writing. So yeah, we've probably gotten about 15 or so out between the two of us. Kind of completed, and yeah.
I finally got to write with Joe, and that's an experience.
Yeah.
So Joe Martiri, these guys are from Rhode Island.
Yes, sir.
How long would you say we know? Now, you haven't known me as long as I've known you, but the connection here is that my dad would go out and see you guys play. I want to say 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
Like Olives on North Main Street, Providence.
Yeah.
And
Probably Rira back then too, the Irish pub.
Rira. And he'd actually bring me to your website and all that and say, this is, because he knew I was interested in getting into playing shows. So he'd go to your show and then he would write your whole set list on a napkin.
Yeah.
He'd say, you want to be in a bar band, you
Yeah.
got to do it like these guys.
Yeah.
This is what they play. You got to get photos like they have on their website.
Yeah.
You guys had like the Queen photo.
The
Kind of like, the completely darkened shadow.
I think we still have it.
Yeah. Well, you haven't changed in 25 years, so you could pretty much.
Well, that's why the picture's so dark and shadowy, so you can't tell as we got older. We look the same.
Exactly. But no, and then we started hanging out more once we met up to Block Island.
Yeah. And then when I've been coming down here to Nashville almost 6 years now, so we see,
Yep.
spend a lot of time together when I'm here.
So it's a lot of beers drank,
Whiskey, beer.
drank, and all that.
Yeah.
So I finally got to write with Joe. And the cool thing about him is he will fill up the page.
Yep.
Whereas I consider myself more of a construction. If this is construction, then I'm the one putting the I-beams in place.
Yep.
But sometimes I don't know what color to pick out for drapes
Yeah.
or what color to paint the walls.
Yeah.
But I'll lay the foundation,
It's funny because so similar to the way you and I, Joe and I, he was a roadie in one of my bands before this band, so more than 20 years ago. And we kind of knew each other just, in passing. And then he was working for the band. And then I did some solo records. So he always liked my music. And then when I started coming here, he was like, hey, man, I'd love to come down there, just check it out. And he came one time and he started telling me he had some ideas for songs. And, that was 150 songs ago. But what I always say, I wasn't much of a collaborator when I was younger, just kind of like, this is my vision. But I really found it to be amazing because, I don't know, him and I have written about 150 songs in the last, few years. On my own, I probably would have written maybe 20 or 30 of them. I think in clips and phrases and lines, and I got, my phone's got 1,000 lines, lyrics, ideas, 2,000 riffs, but sometimes, unless I force myself to sit down and pull it out of the air, it doesn't always come together. So I feel like having that partner is nice because it kind of keeps you honest,
Well, you and I have written a song together now.
Well, we've written two, right?
Yes.
But this was the first one. Another one that was inspired of Rippy's.
Yeah.
We gotta start cutting those guys into the...
Exact, because you pointed out that I've been playing electric instead of acoustic.
Yeah.
The story behind that is 3 guitars ago, I had borrowed my daughter's guitar for about a year and a half and so if I play 35 shows a month and you continue that and I only take off Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Yep.
I don't know what that works out to. It's like
It's a lot.
I'm not even good at math,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of shows I put on the guitar in a year and a half. It completely fell apart.
Yeah.
And in the middle of a show at Rippy's, I said, "This is it."
Yeah.
I didn't want the liability of smashing the guitar and hitting a tourist or something. So I instead just pried it up. Just, pried it over, folded it to death. And the funniest thing is Rod Jansen, who's a great mentor of all of us at Tootsie's, he walks in and goes, what happened? You can still fix that, right? It's like, I just literally destroyed it on purpose. And no, it can't be fixed. But so that was 3 guitars ago. And then I was making do with some shit box. And this creepy thing happened where my buddy Aaron showed up to one of my gigs. And then all my friends started walking in. And I was like 20, like, what's everybody doing here? And then
I know this story.
And I thought for a second there was an emergency.
Yeah.
Because he goes,
or an intervention.
Yeah.
John, I want to talk to you about that whiskey drinking.
I was looking around. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Do we need to evacuate or something? And what he did was he got on stage and presented me with a D16, the exact same one I used to own in 2006, Martin D16, and it was a 2006 model.
Awesome.
So it was like literally getting back the guitar I had lost. And somebody had it under their bed for 20 years or something. So that was one of the nicest things that's ever been done for me.
Amazing.
And it was signed by 10 other people who had all contributed.
That's
and
awesome,
I
dude.
appreciate it. But I then put 200 shows on that guitar.
Right.
I'm not going to get rid of it, but it does need
A lot of love.
it needs the shop. So I started showing up to with my baritone electric, which is really kind of revolutionized the way we do stuff because I get to play bass lines and leads.
Yep.
And I can get a real good pop or crunch, So you pointed out, I see you playing the electric guitar. I said, well, it's a little temperamental.
Yeah.
And you said,
All the good ones are.
exactly. So that's the long story.
And we both said, that'd be a good idea for a song.
Absolutely.
And then I went back to my hotel that day and I played a couple of chords and I sent them to you. You said you liked them. And next thing you know, we got together and a baby was born.
Yes. Some artists have this problem where I can't listen to my stuff. I get too critical.
Yeah.
I have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
I love my stuff so much that I will get full of adrenaline listening to it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I avoid the whole issue because I know how heated it's going to get me.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool when you in fact, because Joe couldn't make this trip. He was texting me. He's like, "Oh, what about?" He like rattled off 5 songs. I'm like, "Oh my god, these are great." We wrote them 2 or 3 years ago, and it's hard to just whip them up. But I was listening to them. I'm like, "Wow, it's just like you said, it makes you feel good." Sometimes you go with fresh airs. You go, "Oh, I might tweak a thing or two because you hear it maybe more clearer a few years later." But sometimes it's kind of like, "Wow, man, I kind of forgot I did that."
Sometimes you go, "No, that was
it's pretty. We had it. We got it right." Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I might not have been a co-writer on this, but that doesn't mean I don't deserve some ownership of it. Almost home. Right?
Yeah, you do.
Tell everybody why I deserve the credit for this one.
So, this is a couple of years ago, and I was watching you play at Rippy's like I usually do, because I love to come see you play. Yeah, and I was, when you're there, everyone's just friends, and I'm at the bar and had some drinks, and next thing you know, I'm doing shots of whiskey with some different people, and there's some young ladies there, and innocent and whatever. And then it's like, all right, I should get out of here, and one of the girls is like, hey man, come on, come back, have one more shot. And I'm like, I thought to myself, man, I was almost home. I almost got out of here, but and then it kind of clicked into an idea. Joe wasn't with me, and I texted him, and I thought of it from like a love story to say, you're far away from home and you're partying with a bunch of girls or whatever, and it was an innocent actual thing that happened. But in the song, it was
you've
was
said the word
fun.
innocent twice.
Yeah, it was in
this story.
We got.
It was innocent.
Yeah, the wife's homeless and saying, I didn't know that part of the story. but I thought it was a great kind of idea to say you should be home. You almost got there, and meanwhile you did it, and you're out getting into trouble. Fresh out of Rippy's.
You're welcome. Well, that's a plus, isn't it? When you like your own stuff.
It is. Well, it's you know what it is. It's fun to play. It's got a little bit of energy to it. It's got a little country pop flair to it. Yeah.
But it's not a foregone conclusion that you're going to like even your best material.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
You have a song that I don't really know what it's about, and that's why I like it. Looking for Liars.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that it touches on certain buttons for me, but it's not blatant. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I don't want you to tell me what it's about, by the way. But that's, to me, that's really appealing. I have a song, Growing Old, which I think
I've heard you. That's good.
it kind of does the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Even though it's obviously a song about aging and worrying about aging and things like that, I don't physically know what the language means.
Yeah.
I need a better plan than never growing old.
Yeah.
It still doesn't make total sense to me mechanically why that works.
But it definitely works. I've heard you do it. It's very.
What's you got to do? Looking for Liars, and it's also got another cool thing I like, which is your voice cracks like Bono. And U2 is it's the big three for me were Mellencamp, Springsteen, and U2 growing up.
So it's interesting, right? I mean, when you talk, so again, with my collaborations, I've been writing a lot of different ways, but Looking for Liars is one, which is the traditional way. I always wrote songs. You know, I'm on the couch and watching TV, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. You know, and all of a sudden, something formulates, and you're playing, and the Looking for Liars came right out like that. I just knew that's what it was, and I brought it to Joe and said, I got like chords. The song like itself is like done of what it should be, and I got kind of the hook. We got to kind of write around it to make it make sense, you know. And that's kind of what we did, you know. So some of my favorite songs do that, and I don't know, you know, if you watch Rick Rubin or some of these guys talk about it, it's almost like the songs kind of exist, and it's your responsibility to pluck them out of the air and channel them through you.
Do you believe that we discover art or we create it?
I think it's a little bit of both, because again, I mean, all my favorite things like that, and thank you for saying the ones you like. I mean, a lot of times they come from just a musical idea, and you hear the tone and the sound and the, you know.
You know what I think of? I think of expressionism in art.
Yep.
I think of Maude in The Big Lebowski when she's on a trapeze.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
And she flies across the room and she just throws a bunch of paint daubs everywhere. And then that's whatever is created ends up being what she calls art.
Yeah.
Which is that's expressionism as far as somebody's going to call me out, but that's what I would call expressionistic. But to the observer who doesn't know how that art was created, they have no context when they walk up to it in the museum.
Right.
They are going to be looking for patterns and reasons.
Right. They kind of fill in the.
So I think that it might be a sign of pride to think that you could really create something.
Yeah.
I think, like everyone knows, you didn't create yourself.
Right.
You didn't invent the way things work. And I don't think it's possible to create art either. I think we discover it. But we can obscure the process from ourselves so that it's not a boring process.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I actually love misinterpretation sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I don't know, maybe 18 or 19. I had written this song. Actually, I had written it with my sister at the time, and I was so excited about it. I thought it was cool and clever, and I played it for a cousin, a friend of mine, and she loved it, you know. And she's like, "Oh, it's so cool!" And then she's telling me her interpretation of it, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's not what I meant."
It's not even close.
But it was actually kind of the opposite of what I meant. But then as I listened to the lyrics, I'm like, but that makes sense. And I actually liked her interpretation and a little bit more than what I actually meant. But I remember thinking, that's kind of cool, man. You know, that's kind of it's a beautiful thing about art. It's like, you know, it meant that to me, and then it meant something different to her. And, you know.
There's interpretation.
Yep.
But at the same time, I kind of come from the opposite school.
Yeah.
I imagine that you found what looks like a canvas of a painting face up on a desk, and it's covered in sand. And so you dust off a little bit of it, and you see a guy's foot. And then you go, all right, well, if the foot's down here, I bet the head is up here.
Right.
You know, and you dust that off, and sure enough,
Yeah.
I think that we discover things.
Yeah.
I'll think of a line, and I'll say, you know, I like this line, but it's a supporting line.
Yeah.
It's not a title.
Or yeah.
It's not a hook.
Yeah.
I wrote a song, the right one, where it started from a supporting line.
Yeah.
It started from I witnessed the birth of a brand new bad habit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had that, but it was like finding a handle with no briefcase attached to it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of decided what that line had to mean in order to bring it to,
Yeah.
you know, fruition.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's funny because I talk about sometimes. I think different songs have to be different things. Like, you know, I got some songs that are very specific, but you were asking about looking for liars, and you said some of your songs too. Like, I actually enjoy when it's not necessarily just a A to Z story, because like I feel like it's like a movie sometimes, right? Like you see some movie with a big shocking ending, and it's awesome once, right? You get, I really have to watch that again. I know it has, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you watch like, I'm going to show my Italian heritage, The Godfather or something, right? You watch it like 40 friggin' times, and you're like, I never realized the way they panned that scene in there. Or I missed that kind of. There's
Yep.
just so much artistry in there that you go every time you see it, you kind of take something else out of it. I love that. So to me, that's the way I am with songs. Sometimes I go, yeah, you know, is it the perfect, you know, beginning to end story, or does it make 100% sense? Sometimes it doesn't, you know. But if the essence of it comes through and people relate to it, and you kind of get those bits and pieces and those little hooks in you, I think it's cool, you know.
It also brings up like the evolutionary, our evolutionary drives. Like I'm not going to start quoting Jordan Peterson and ruining what he so eloquently said. But he
I
said
like me some Jordan.
something along the lines of humans have whites of their eyes so that we can read their intent and which direction they're looking.
Oh.
Whereas other primates don't.
Wow, I never heard him say that. That's interesting.
And you can go on YouTube, the real talk, and get it the right way
Yeah.
from him. But the reason being that humans are intensely focused on eyes and intent,
Yeah.
and we are looking for liars
Yeah.
when we do that.
That's a really
Because
interesting take. Yeah.
You meet somebody on the street, this guy won't look me in the eye.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's been dishonest, somebody's a threat. So that's the other thing that it kind of tips off for me.
That's interesting. Okay, that's cool.
So what do you hope to get done with your Nashville trips?
It really been just trying to, you know, network, meet some people, and you know, get in front of some people, and I mean, it's really been cool for me. I mean, I spend a lot of time with the band, so it's just a chance for me to kind of step outside of that and try some of these, you know, kind of more listening room type songs. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's been a few years now, but it's been cool, you know. And I belong to the Nashville Songwriters Association. I've done that for a long time, so just, you know, meeting some friends, making some contacts, and you know, just trying to see where it takes me, some different avenues, and I've been enjoying it, man.
So you made a lot of friends here.
Made a lot of friends, man, especially through you.
Well, you're around so much that sometimes it feels like you live here.
It does.
I have a whole bunch of Nashville friends that I don't see nearly as much as you. So
That's cool, man. I appreciate that. It's always a pleasure, man.
I feel the same way about, you know, my family in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Is we see each other when we can, but I still might see members of my family more than their next door neighbor does.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the new project? What are you pushing next?
So we just released a brand new single with the band called "Love Me Now" just a few weeks ago. But we did like a radio promo with it. Got about 55 stations that picked us up so far around the country. Kind of cool. You know, there's still some college and AAA radio stations hanging in there, and some of them are satellite stations. So we've been pushing that. We got a whole bunch of new songs that Joe and I have written that we're probably going to do another EP next year. So we've kind of got 4 or 5 songs that are in process. And I might do like a solo kind of project too. You know, I got I've released sporadically some singles here and there solo too. So that's the other reason it's nice to be down here. This kind of stuff, just meet other players and you know see what else comes of some other stuff. But yeah, you know.
I'd say it's working out for you.
Yeah, man, that's great. I love it. I love coming down here, man.
Dean Petrella of The Complaints out of Rhode Island. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks, John. You're the best, brother.